Three, two, one. This is Radio Free Cybertron. I am Brian Kilby. And with me this week, I have Chris.
In 48,000 kilohertz.
Mostly, yes. Don.
Hi, y'all.
Matt.
Yes, I am here.
And Diecast.
I got a special surprise today.
It is really cool. I know what it is.
Yeah, I had to tell someone. I couldn't keep it a secret.
I have something pretty cool too, and I think Diecast has me beat. So next week, I either have an awesome story or I have something pretty cool. Not
And
really an awesome story.
Possibly also a story to go with it, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Actually, yeah. So it's it'll be a teaching moment either way. But we'll see. Okay. Hey, it's yesterday's Valentine's Day. Hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day, whatever that means. And
I certainly had a Tuesday.
Yeah, for Matt, it was a Tuesday.
I tried to jump on, Hot 5 yesterday just because I felt like I needed to do something Transformers related on Valentine's Day.
Rob wasn't able to.
But yeah.
Rob's out this week, so
I didn't know what to do yesterday. I was so lost without being at a Transformers related convention.
I'm sorry. That's not good. But yeah, so Valentine's Day is over. We are moving on. Let's see. There's going to be a live stream with Pulse at the end of the month, right?
As far as we know, the 28th, they said for the probably what's going to be
Titan,
the Omega Sentinel.
The Omega Sentinel.
I just got a Mega Sentinel.
Unless they reveal the Nemesis.
I mean, that's actually possible.
Yeah,
given the time frame.
I'd rather have a Mega Sentinel.
I would rather have a Mega Sentinel as well, Brian. But yeah, this is pretty much about the time that they usually give out at least a tease of, the next Titan in the line.
Yeah. We usually see the Titan at Toy Fair in its full, maybe a painted,
right,
but not,
I'd rather have the Mega Sentinel and a Nemesis. But given the choice between the two, I know that a Mega Supreme is great. I know that I wanted the Mega Sentinel. Kind of half a bird in a hand is worth 0 birds in the bush. That'd be kind of gross. It'd be a dead bird.
And
we've seen nothing of the Nemesis, so that would be great to see that. Maybe they'll do both on the same day. Like, hey, we got this Titan for our retail, and we have this Titan for our select.
So that's not too crazy because Hasbro's not doing that great financially. So they're going to have to invest in the brands that are selling for them. Transformers is one of their top brands. I wouldn't be surprised if that means more product. I mean, they've been killing us with product anyway.
I know.
Yeah, so just more of it, I would not be shocked.
I missed the 1990s.
It was so great.
You got 20 toys in a year if you were lucky and you were grateful for them.
It was wonderful. It was so easy to keep up with. Except for not knowing what was actually coming out.
But that was half the fun.
Yeah.
Remember when we used to get excited about hearing all the product that was upcoming, and now we kind of dread it?
Yeah. But it's not that we don't love the toys. We don't love the volume of the toys.
It's
funny.
funny.
I love the volume of the toys. I don't love the price of the toys.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
What, Diecast?
I was going to say it's funny because I was at Walmart today and I picked up a clearance figure, the Buzzsaw.
Yeah.
And I was trying to remember the third figure in the wave. And I'm like looking on the package to see if they're still showing the other wave mates on the box, which is
just look over to the left. They're on the shelf on the clearance too.
Well, no. The Buzzsaw was the only one left because they were clearance down to $9.
Buzzsaw, Sandstorm, Nightprowler.
Sandstorm. Which one was Nightprowler? Oh, Nightprowler was Cheetor.
I could probably go and buy you 3 of each right now.
I need a Nightprowler for $9, definitely.
I'll keep an eye out.
But I have the other two now.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's that's what made me think about it when Matt was saying like we didn't even know what was going to be in the store. That was like the exciting part is seeing a new figure on the shelf and seeing what else shipped with that figure. Whatever was in the wave, you would be able to tell by because they would have the cross promotion on the packaging.
I loved it.
Yeah, I
liked
mean, I remember we're all old enough for this, but I remember like Beast Machines, for example, like you would hear Usenet posts, and that's how you knew a toy was out at retail. And you might not have known that toy was going to come along at all before
Mhm.
that. And every once in a while too, like you could actually go to the store, and if you were super lucky, you would find a figure that hadn't been announced yet.
Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah.
Now
Or-
we're all spoiled because Hasbro has calls and just tells us straight out what's coming,
Yeah.
Which I mean,
which is awesome.
Yeah, I love that we have the access. Just I don't like that the environment of the collecting space and the fandom evolved into something that requires that to be a thing for Hasbro to take any ownership of how the product comes out.
Or we have leaks for 2024.
Well,
But
that's
yeah.
a segue to the news.
Thank you, Diecast. So, JT Prime on TFW shared
I was
some,
enjoying the conversation and the trip down memory lane, but sure, let's get on with the show.
shared some information today. Chris, you can just read this as well as I can.
I suppose. Which one are we doing first? The Studio Series?
Yeah.
I guess that would make sense because that's the one I put first in the show notes because that's the one that came up first in my feed. Okay, so one interesting thing about this, there is some question about the labels on some of these, and some of these might be actually for Studio Series 86 instead of the movie 6 that they're tagged as, but nobody's quite sure for sure, but it would make some of them make more sense, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
One that's not really so ambiguous is core class Mohawk from The Last Night.
Mm-hmm.
Mohawk being the little motorcycle guy that never got any official merchandise.
He's cool.
Yeah,
I'm
it'll be
excited
interesting
for
to see
that.
how that translates into a core class figure, especially after seeing how Arcee translated into a core class figure. That's definitely some hit and miss territory right there. The next one on the list is core class. It's labeled here as movie 6 Rumble, but it could be Studio Series 86 Rumble, and if so, that would be the red one.
Mm-hmm.
The red one, or I guess maybe a repack of the blue one, but I would assume it would say on here like package refresh or something if that was going to be the case. I also don't know the product number of the blue one we have offhand, so that probably is also ruled out by the product number on this. But again, I don't have that in front of me. Studio Series Core Class Movie 6 Starscream, which seems a little odd unless it's like the death of Starscream as a core class, if that's Studio Series 86, or it's a new design Bumblebee movie Starscream in core class, which also seems a little bit weird.
Yeah, but I can see it.
Because they could repaint it 100 times and repackage
Yeah,
it.
they can. It's more, I have trouble sitting here envisioning how they would engineer that design to actually work
Poorly.
at core class. Yeah, I mean, you got me there.
No offense to the team, but like, I mean,
No offense to the team. It's just an overcomplicated design, and it's not ever going to translate well to a small, simple toy that has to sell for $12.
$12, geez.
Yeah.
Studio Series Deluxe War for Cybertron Sideswipe. That's the High Moon game, War for Cybertron, not the Netflix trilogy.
Is anyone else other than me really excited for the word for Cybertron stuff?
I'm interested to see how.
Nope.
Yes, I'm curious to see what they come up with.
No.
I mean, like we know what the stuff is going to look like in each mode because it is the video game design that we've had toys of many of these before.
We didn't have great toys.
Well,
though.
that was going to be my next point. Like those toys came out at a time of uncertainty in like designing Transformers because of the economic concerns. So like, yeah, they definitely were not all they could have been. At the same time, they were still at that point $11. These still might not be all they could be, and now they're $26 or whatever. So like, I'm not sure we're going to necessarily get a net gain here, but they might be at least interestingly different from the ones that came before. Sideswipe, in particular, was a pretty cool design. It never looked very Sideswipe to me, at least in the toy execution. Like the best part of that
because it
original
also
toy
had to
was
be jazz.
I mean, parts of it did, yeah. That jazz was just a travesty, I gotta say. But I mean, they've certainly more than made up for it in the intervening time, but like, yeah, that jazz just should not have been. Studio Series Deluxe Transformer 7 Scorponok, which your guess is as good as mine. I don't remember any mention of a Scorponok in the marketing materials. Studio Series Deluxe Movie 6 Sunstreaker, which again might be Studio Series 86.
Was he not in that the crowd scenes on Cybertron and in the fight? Did he not have a CGI model?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know.
Because I mean, like, we have Brawn and we have Ironhide and Ratchet. I could see if Ironhide was in that scene somewhere.
Studio Series Voyager War for Cybertron Starscream, which if they do a good pass on that, I love that deluxe mold.
You sure did.
Yeah.
Still do. That is a great little deluxe figure. Like, that was, you could tell, like we were just talking about the War for Cybertron toys the first time around not being that great. You could tell when they got to that, they were like on the rebound, and like they put more into that because they knew they could get repaints out of it. But like, it was the mark of getting Generations in deluxes back to where they had been before things got bad. It was a very positive sign, and the toy came out great. I'm hoping this Voyager, even though it's not going to be very much bigger than that deluxe, will be, similarly like a good toy for what it is. Studio Series Voyager Movie 6 Soundwave, which could be the Bumblebee movie Shockwave. Did I say Soundwave the first time? Shockwave.
Yeah, Shockwave.
It could be Bumblebee movie Shockwave, or I keep looking for cartoon deco Siege Shockwave, just without the extra parts, and that could work too. You never know if that's an 86 instead of a Bumblebee.
But if it's an 86, I feel it would be a new mold.
I mean, you're probably right, especially since Evan said on that conference call if they were going to do Soundwave in Studio Series, he would want to do a whole new one from the ground up. That is also why I figure Sunstreaker could be an 86, because he might have looked at the Earthrise one and said, you know what, I can do better.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Sunstreaker was in two places in the 86 movie. He was on Optimus's command crew and an Autobot City, so he definitely deserves a Studio Series 86 toy.
Studio Series Voyager 86 Scrap Heap.
Bring on the Junkions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just going to be the Wreck-Gar, retooled again.
Yeah.
Like they did with Junk Heap, but I'm okay with that. It's a good toy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to just be the Junk Heap body with a different head, basically, I think. I don't think it's going to be like a particularly significant retool of any sort. Important one, Studio Series Leader 86 Swoop. So we actually have that on the books now and the size class locked in.
Nice.
That's been a big thing up in the air ever since they started this. What size would Swoop be? It's going to be a leader. Now, whether that's all taken up with wings or if there's extra accessories in there, we're not going to know that for quite some time yet. But, it's out there. It's coming. And then the one that's really got everybody scratching their heads, Studio Series Leader Movie 6 Megatron. So, Megatron was not in the Bumblebee movie. There was apparently concept art for a redesign of Megatron for the movie that didn't get used. The scene got cut at like an early stage, and I don't think any visuals were even produced for it. So it could be that based on concept art.
At a leader class, do you think they would do that?
Well, the other option is that this is a Studio Series 86 Megatron, in which case, they're going to have to compromise that because it won't be able to turn into a gun, and therefore it's not going to be, correctly accurate.
That'll be interesting.
And like, just the passion Evan brings into doing Studio Series stuff, I have a hard time believing he would tolerate having a Megatron that would have to turn into
that
wrong
would have the
thing.
wrong alt mode.
Yeah, even if it looked perfectly correct in robot mode, and like the engineering to do what I'm suggesting there, like that just seems like it would exceed a leader even.
Can't they just put an orange cap on it?
No.
I mean, okay, so like toy gun regulations, the bare minimum necessary to be legal is to put orange caps on,
right?
So that it can be identified visually. But at the same time, if a kid's waving around a gun-shaped toy, even if it has an orange cap, and the tragic happens, like that's not going to stop somebody from coming after. And go ahead.
I saw on Facebook where some idiot painted a 9mm to look like the orange NES Zapper.
Hmm.
So yes, the regulations at the very least is to make it so that it has an orange cap, but it could still be a real gun. Because
Absolutely.
idiots out there that are our age who have like fond memories of stuff like that would do something stupid like take an actual pistol and paint that looks like Megatron and paint it orange because we're stupid.
And on the conference call, the subject of Megatron with a gun mode came up in passing, and basically the answer to that was no, they can't do that. They would have, like, the whole thing has to be in one of two target colors, the entire thing. Like, this is not based on the regulations. This is based on conversations they would have had, like, with their legal department, their marketing. Like, what would we have to do for this to be able to be potentially marketable for us? And like, it's very extreme. Even way back, and I hate that this is way back now, but way back in like the late 2000s, with the subject of the classics Nerf gun Megatron, that was even ruled out for re-release in its original deco because it was then considered too realistic looking. It was not distinguished enough by the colors that it had. And that had, purple, bright green, orange on it. It came out in that platinum 2-pack in the translucents, but that helps a little bit distinguish it. And I don't know if that was ever officially solicited for distribution in the US. US retailers might have carried it, but they might have imported it or sourced it themselves from where it was officially solicited. So there's a lot of variables that play with that. But at one point, that was off the books as something they could sell again in the Megatron deco as it originally came. So like, the prospect of a gun mode Megatron at this point in a mainline in any kind of form like that is like off the table. And Evan might split the difference and say, I will make the best Megatron G1 robot mode I can, and it'll just have to turn into what it turns into, a submarine. But the concept art exists for a Bumblebee movie Megatron, so that is a possibility too. And like, if they want to stretch what they can do with the previous live action movies going to concept art and stuff, like, it could still fit into their mission statement with Studio Series. It's just, like with the video game toys going into that, it's another studio. This is a design studio thing. It still kind of fits the tangents that they're spreading out into.
Yeah, but the one of the big advantages of the Studio Series, especially with, the movie stuff, the recent movie stuff, is the immediate recognizable nature of the toys and the characters. Somebody might say, oh, I remember that character from the movie, I'm gonna get it. You'd look at that and say, what the is this?
Right.
Yeah.
I would lose my mind if it's a submarine Megatron, because I was asking for that for so long.
The other thing too, if it's a Studio Series 86 and it's a leader class, like, scale is a big factor, and Optimus Prime and Megatron and G1 are basically the same height. So a leader, if it's a straight up leader, like, one of the Dinobots at full height, that's going to be out of scale. So this might be another thing like Studio Series Starscream. Not that it would necessarily be a mold reuse, but it could be a Voyager sized mold with either, maybe not a throne, but like option parts for the battle damage scene.
No, you know what it needs to be? Action Master Megatron.
I mean, I'm not opposed to this in concept. The classics Megatron I was talking about before basically was updated Action Master Megatron, like with the colors and everything. But yeah, like, I guess the other possibility, although I think we've seen a listing for the War for Cybertron Megatron already, and that's maybe a Voyager. I was going to say, like, they could do the video game one that could be a mislabel of this, but like, probably not.
Yeah.
Anani TF in our Discord, tfradio.net/Discord, come join the fun. He says they should test boundaries since there can't be a gun mode Megatron. Make Megatron a knife the next time.
So I'm going to take the packaging art for Action Master Megatron and make it my desktop. That is something I'm doing.
Yes. I like this plan.
That is happening right now.
Yeah, it's definitely some interesting stuff in this list, especially with the uncertainty about what all of these movie 6 listings might or might not be. So, a little bit of fun speculation there. Hopefully, before too long we'll have something updated in these listings where like we have a more concrete idea of what's going on, because some of this is just damn confusing right now.
$300 for Action Master Megatron. That's something I need.
What did I put in the next one? Oh, Legacy. Okay. I guess we're moving on to Legacy 2024.
Yeah.
So again from JT Prime, posted on TFW. With thanks to Voltrace for picking out some of these listings. So this first one's going to be real interesting. Transformers Generations Legacy Universe, I guess we're going with on that. Core class Rock 1.
Unicron Rock 1.
Okay, so I had a thought on this. Like everybody's saying Rock Lords, I sincerely doubt it. But and this is a stretch. This is a reach. But like in the initial stages of the writing for the Transformers the movie in 86, Lithone was a planet of rock people.
Right, that's where the name came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm thinking this could be like a Kranix or an Arblis or something. This is from the team that gave us Quintessons and Alicons.
It could be so it could be like the initial Megatron, and I guess was it Optimus from the 2007 movie?
It was Optimus and Starscream.
Optimus and Starscream.
Oh, and their comet form.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I thought of.
It looks like the rocks are
it's not going to be Rock Lords.
No.
It looks like the rocks, whatever they are, going to be the potentially the play pattern toy for next year, because we have Rock in the deluxe class too.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Either that or this is there's two rocks in here. The thing is, like, when the Pretenders in the first year of Legacy were solicited, they were Energon monsters first, and then eventually we found out, the specific characters, and they were just all Pretenders. So, like, there's definitely some theming to this. If it is Lithonians, A, that would be interesting, and B, I hope one of them is Nancy.
Yes, because she could double as a Junkion.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Nancy specifically is a Junkion, but just reuse the mold and give us a Nancy out of it.
I don't know if this is going to any less far fetched than what Matt was saying, but also in the Marvel Transformers the movie comic adaptation, the Lithones had take a transform.
Yeah, it was it's in the character design art that for the movie and it just dropped.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that, and also Hasbro just released the Dungeons and Dragons Dicelings, which are dice/rock things. They might be wanting to reuse that as creatures from, the Transformers mythos. Reuse that mold, and they look like they could be rocks when they're compressed.
Or it could be Rock Lords.
It's not going to be Rock Lords.
Okay, so like I'm not up on my original GoBots related toys very well. Like, were the Rock Lords an original
boring? Yes, they were boring.
Were they an original thing Tonka came up with themselves, or was that another import toy?
Oh, that's a great question, because I honestly always assumed that they were an original, but you know what? They're actually pretty nice, and at least some of them. I don't think that Tonka made them themselves. I think they had to be a Bandai or something else.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not a Bandai thing, where there's where it's potentially tied up with the Machine Robo stuff, Hasbro certainly could start producing their own Rock Lords, because they have the other GoBots IP stuff. It's just the problem of the crossover with Machine Robo design work that has been a problem for GoBot stuff in Transformers over the last, decade plus.
So if you really want, a robot that crumples up into a misshapen ball, I guess there's still hope for you.
I mean, how many years of movie toys have we had so far? Like, how is this different? Getting back to the list. Still in core class, we have Universe Core Energon Megatron. And I mean, that certainly is simple enough to work at core class. That was not a complicated, large toy.
Wait. So, and we already have like a legend scale version of that too.
What?
Energon Megatron?
Yeah.
Or not? No, I guess I'm thinking of Cybertron Megatron. There's
yes.
the legend scale.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the old kind of legends.
Yeah, wrong one.
Yeah, no, this is the space jet.
Yeah.
Looks like Galvatron in the wrong colors.
Yeah.
And then in the right colors.
Well, closer to the right colors.
Yeah.
It was never really the right colors. Brian's reaching for something.
Right colors?
Yeah, Energon Galvatron.
Yes.
Yeah. Right colors.
Core class Beast Wars Tasmanian Kid.
Awesome.
The Beast Wars second version of Snarl from Beast Wars.
Yes.
I believe that's the original.
Who is a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why he was the Tasmania Kid, and this one is listed as Tasmanian Kid with a Z instead of an S.
Yeah.
Because he's extreme.
Yeah.
Well, this also makes it trademarkable or at least defensible. Deluxe animated Bumblebee.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, we could use a good animated Bumblebee toy. We haven't ever really had one before.
Yeah, I think they did okay with Prowl. I'm interested to see how they do with Bumblebee.
Yeah, there's never been a good animated deluxe Bumblebee.
I'm really just waiting for us to see this, and it's just another retool of Earthrise Cliffjumper.
But there's two deluxe Bumblebees, right? There's the
original one, and the it wasn't a deluxe; it was slightly sub deluxe, but it came with the submarine armor, and it was only released in Japan.
Yeah, it's awful.
I never had it because again, it was Japan exclusive.
I bought one, and I think I gifted it to Triplet.
The Takara only released animated stuff, which was stuff that was for Hasbro's line, and Hasbro just ended the line early, and the stuff never came out. But all that stuff tended to be kind of expensive to import. Especially Blackout, which Blackout did not have any other character representation. Toy. Yeah.
I need to dig it out. It's not mine somewhere.
I thought animated Blackout was a Voyager.
It's a big toy.
Okay.
It could be a big Voyager though.
Yeah. Either way, like just all.
Yeah, it
of
was.
Those...
It was like Megatron Ultra Magnus size.
Okay, I guess it was the leader then.
Yeah, I got it at BotCon. John found it.
Yeah, but like all the Takara exclusive releases were just kind of high. Deluxe Rescue Bot Chase.
Okay.
Sweet.
Deluxe Rock 1. Not to be confused with Core Rock 1. This is just, Rock 1 at the deluxe scale.
They're not Rock Lords. They're not Rock Lords.
Deluxe Cyberverse Windblade.
Okay.
Which is interesting that it's specifically being called Cyberverse or Cyb.
Which is not that different from regular G1 Windblade.
No, it's not. They all share pretty much the same design lineage. There wasn't like any major variations. Deluxe G1 Gears.
Yay!
Finally.
Yeah.
That got canceled out of Kingdom, and I was very sad.
Okay, so the way I understand it is that if Gears had been put through for Kingdom, it might have actually ended up being a core class instead of a deluxe.
Ooh.
So the delay, the delay actually worked in our favor. Deluxe G1 Sure Shot.
Hey, I'm not done talking about Gears yet.
Excellent.
So the great thing about Gears, you have at least like 2 alternate heads. You have like the toy head and a happy head.
And a Swerve head.
Yeah. Well, but that would be for Swerve. Okay, I'll shut up.
Deluxe Rock 2. And Deluxe...
A Sure Shot.
Sure Shot.
Yay.
I don't know, I mentioned Sure Shot and you just wanted to talk about Gears.
I know. And you just jumped ahead after I was done with Gears. I'm not talking about Rocks yet. I want to talk about Sure Shot.
That's the last of the Autobot Target Masters that we need too.
Yeah. And my favorite, I think Sure Shot is like one of the G1 toys that I have the most versions of, but I don't have his Target Master. I've got like
remember, temper your expectations with this because Point Blank.
Yeah.
I like
Needle
Point Blank.
nose.
I like Point Blank better than most people, apparently.
Well,
Yeah, but
we do.
it still came out kind of lacking.
Yeah, it's not everything I'd hoped it would be. Granted, but
Yeah,
but
we
next
do.
time will be different. Sure,
Don?
shot will be different.
Oh well, but don't forget, as far if you're including target masters, there's still the two small. Since we did technically get Scoop a couple years ago, several years ago, as a matter of fact, but we still need Quick Mix and Landfill as far as updated versions of them as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the juniors.
if they were going to do the small target masters, I would really hope they would just do a new Scoop
When
at
did we
this point.
get
And do the whole
At this
set free.
point,
When did we get Quake?
Titans Return.
Did he have this Target Masters?
No, we
No.
could do with another one of those too.
Okay, yeah.
Honestly,
no, he was one of the ones that they frustratingly made into a headmaster
Oh,
instead
okay.
of
Yeah.
being
he
a
was-
target
he was-
master that he should have been. He was
he
a
was the-
hard head repaint.
correct.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
and Spinister was his guns were molded to pseudo look like target masters.
Yeah, and then Target Masters, named after his Target Masters, came out. One of them in the Skywarp multi-pack, which was Amazon exclusive, and I think the other one was just retail.
Hasbro makes things so difficult sometimes.
Yeah,
But they make it.
When am I going to get a room?
never.
No.
Yeah.
I'm
I
so
wouldn't
sad.
I wouldn't put it past this team.
I mean, that's a pretender, right? So, like,
Yeah. Now I'll be honest, a deluxe class room or maybe a Voyager. I could see that doing it as a Voyager. But then that's a pretender in every size class most every size class.
yeah, you still need a leader class one and a commander class.
No
one
needs a
and-
leader class pretender.
Well,
ever.
I mean,
and a
actually,
for
Titan
any
class
reason.
pretender.
Actually, Thunder. Even if you get rid of Thunderwing's outer shell, a Thunderwing could probably needs to be at least a Voyager, but maybe could be a leader just for the, maybe like the double jet thing, and
At
like
least
the jet is a target master to him at this point, but it's still the same thing.
if they did a Thunderwing, I would want them to go for IDW Thunderwing because like that had a different take on the pretender shell concept for Thunderwing, and it's something they could actually replicate in a toy without having to make just a big hollow shell to slap around it. Like they could make that design work as a toy at leader class.
Yeah, a third party did it.
Yeah, a long time ago, and nobody liked that toy and it broke. Anyway, so we have a deluxe Rock 2, assuming Brian's done talking about Sure Shot.
Not Rock
I am.
Lords.
Is that The Rock?
No.
It's
That's
not
Cliff
The
Jumper.
Rock. It's not Black Adam.
It was Cliff Jumper for one episode, and then when they had to use Cliff Jumper more in flashbacks, they had somebody else do the voice. Hooray, stunt casting. And the last one on this list is Deluxe Cyberverse Chromia. Which I think Rob made a good point of, like, there's the very real possibility that's just a retool of Legacy RC.
Please no.
I didn't even know there was a Cyberverse Chromia.
Yeah, she's in a couple episodes. Like she's
She
not
never had a
major character.
toy.
No,
Yeah.
she's not a major character, but she was around.
Oh, okay.
But let's talk about the important stuff. We have
Um,
more red figures.
Crikey.
I was starting to wonder.
More
It's been a while
repaints.
before we heard anything. There's a Grimlock. He's not a repaint.
Yeah.
Prime Starscream wouldn't be a repaint either.
Skywarp certainly is, and Sound Blaster certainly
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yes.
Now the question: will Sound Blaster have a blue chest or a red chest?
And I don't know if I want Sound Blaster. I don't particularly like Soundwave.
Well, it's very possible they could drop maybe one of Soundwave's unnecessary accessories that really doesn't fit for Sound Blaster, although that would mean a new mold, and they could maybe give you give you a chest option in the package.
I guess.
I wouldn't count on it.
Right.
I am
I know,
happy.
I know.
I am happy though that these listings, there are only 4 of them, and these are the first ones we've had in months.
Apparently, these are going to come out this year. This is not next year's stuff. Refresh my memory. Did Red Soundwave, could its chest open?
I don't know if I never.
I
never
believe so because
I
it
believe
came with
so,
the laser beak.
It came with a really tiny
oh, that's right.
non-transforming laser beak.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So like, there is a possibility that they could like have a separate part to swap in that is the thicker chest door, and like in that case, maybe they will make it the right color.
Mm.
If they don't just make it a straight recolor Soundwave.
I don't know. It feels like whoever's doing red is not doing any of the other stuff.
And
yeah,
I wish I would have thought to ask, like, we found out about the Earthspark and the mainline movie design team being separate and like in a different part of the country. Like, who and where are the red people?
Yeah.
Why can we talk to them? We'd like to find out like why they're doing this to us. I mean,
And the thing is, I still have never seen. I got Galvatron and Shockwave, but yet they have not turned up anywhere that I have seen, and they've been out technically for months.
Yeah, they're at Walmart. I'm being
I saw them each one time, and I bought the Galvatron, and I've never seen any more.
Now, do we think Grimlock is going to be robot mode or dinosaur mode?
Well, I hope it's dinosaur mode. I think it'll be robot.
He was on screen a lot more in season 3, and most of that was in dinosaur mode.
I think to fit in with the rest, he's going to be in robot mode.
Yeah, I think to fit the packaging, he's going to be in robot mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus, the fact is, there's a license.
But if he's in dinosaur mode, he could come with a serving tray and an apron.
That's true.
Okay. No, but the thing is, if he comes in dinosaur mode, it's going to be a big mass of plastic, and there's going to be the separate tail, which is going to take up your entire accessory slot.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He should be in dino mode, but it's going to be robot mode.
I don't know. I kind of think he should be in robot mode.
I mean, for season 1 and 2, those appearances of the Dinobots, Grimlock defaulted to robot mode. It wasn't until
season 3.
It wasn't until the movie in season 3 that they leaned into the dinosaur aspect of the Dinobots more, and actually gave them like personalities instead of just whatever was going on with them in the first 2 seasons.
Speaking of whatever's going on, let's go ahead and talk about Deluxe Mirage.
Must we?
So on Instagram, Transformers, the official Transformers Instagram, posted pictures of Rise of the Beast Mirage. Hey, generally people love the car mode.
Oh yeah,
and are perplexed somewhat by the robot mode.
Fact that it's Mirage.
Yeah. My problem with the robot mode, ignoring like who is what or whatever, is. Like, I don't like the feet. The feet give me a very, like, Dark of the Moon sort of feel with some of those toys, like Sideswipe, etc. I don't like... But it looks like it's designed by somebody other than... It just doesn't look... It looks like JD Knight or whatever, that toy, or Aveo Swerve, something. It just looks off.
Well, they're working with a different... effects studio, so it probably is designed by someone different.
Well, yeah, but it looks like even like the toy just looks to me like it just looks like a knockoff Transformer, not like a knockoff of a Transformer, but like a dollar store toy that, that's why they have authentics. It just something about the robot mode just does not click for me at all, period.
Well, they had to make a lot of sacrifices because it is a licensed Porsche. So this is what happens. I mean, when you look at, what he looks like in the movie, it's not very close to this.
It might have been 2 years ago, though.
Yeah, which is understandable. But the bigger question is, they have the Porsche license this year. Could we get a Masterpiece Jazz this year, since they secured?
That'd be Takara.
Yeah, Takara would have to license separately to do that.
Okay, so that's out there.
Right.
And we still have that Masterpiece Cliff Jumper that we saw 2 years ago that's never popped up anywhere. So
yeah, it keeps popping up here and there, but like they don't seem to be in any hurry to actually get it out anywhere. So who knows what's up with that? Actually, I mean, if it's close enough that they want to or need to license Cliff Jumper's alt mode with Porsche, they might be holding that back for developing a Jazz, and you get like the license for 2 toys for the one release year if their licensing deals work the same as what was described with Hasbro's. Like I could see that being a possibility. I wouldn't hold my breath. But yeah, like 2 years ago when the design work started on this toy, probably this is what the character looked like, and it went through various iterations from the visual effects people since then. But
A lot can change in 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't think to Diecast's point that it being a licensed Porsche is as much of an issue with what it ended up looking like, because it's a Studio Series movie toy. Most of the alt mode is just panels folded up on its back.
Yeah, but it's discordant. Like what you would think a Porsche would look like in robot mode is the opposite of what this is.
Well, yeah, because we think what a Porsche should look like in robot mode is Jazz.
Yeah, but I'm not even saying that.
And I mean, obviously, this was Jazz at some point in his life.
It's very brutish looking, though. To me, it's stocky, and it looks more hulking than than what I would.
Which is the exact opposite of what he's gonna look like in the movie.
Yeah,
which is a little bit of a problem.
Just looks odd. Looks really odd. Ignoring all that, just something about that, which is probably why it doesn't look that way, because it just looks so off.
Maybe it'll look better when we see it in plastic.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if it transformed into something different, I would like it better. Like a I know obviously with the tails and
rock
stuff,
maybe.
It's not like a rock, like more like a tank or something. It's closer to a tank to me in robot mode than what you would think would transform into into a Porsche or something. The car mode's pretty awesome though.
Yeah. No, my feeling on this is that when they started designing this, it was Jazz, and that's the visual cues they took for the robot, and they just passed it through, the most recent version of the movie filter. Because like, you can't look at that and tell me that wasn't Jazz at some point in its life.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree 100%. That's Jazz.
Ness says Mirage looks like he's wearing a big diaper.
Yeah. Okay, Studio Series Cheetor in hand.
He is. He's in my hand.
Oh, neat. Well, that's what Diecast got this week.
One of the things.
Where'd you get it?
Amazon.
Huh, I didn't even know that was on Amazon.
Yeah. And Arcee also came from Amazon.
And the next link on this line is pictures of Core Class Arcee.
Yes.
Well, we'll be hearing more about those in a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll just skip that. There's or behind the scenes from Mark on Origins Jazz. Any interesting takeaways here, Chris?
Nothing comes to mind. Just kind of reinforcing the highlights he was calling out during the conference call. The wrists flip in. Each one has a 5mm socket on it, so you can plug in the grappling hook accessory or anything else you have with a 5mm port, because play pattern. And like, it looks really nice. So Mark did hold this up with a Studio Series Jazz during the conference call, but I was not able to get a clean screenshot of that. I was hoping there would be a picture reflecting that in this batch, but there wasn't. But from what I recall, like, they're pretty comparable in size and build, just with the exception of Origins having a lot more vehicle shell spread around it for obvious reasons. But yeah, like, it still looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. Okay, let's jump to what we got this week. Who wants to go first? Chris, what do you have?
Nothing.
Matt, what do you have?
Okay, I broke down and bought the retro G1 Starscream.
Nice. Do you like it?
I do. It's purely about the coloring though, because like I have bought several reissues of the Decepticon jets, but I don't think I've ever opened any of them. So this is probably the first time I've handled this toy since I was a small child. Not as good as I remember, but yeah, the colors on it just are absolutely wonderful.
If we can end the show on time, I might go pick one up as well. I've been meaning to do that all week and I haven't had a chance.
I might pick one up when they go on clearance.
Yeah.
His hands are remolded so he can hold the Megatron gun that he comes with. Like it.
The last reissue, the Walmart reissue, had that too.
Okay, so the gun splits and it has the bottom of the stock on the bottom of the fist.
I believe that is a holdover from like the Encore releases way back.
Yeah, I don't know where that originated, but the Walmart reissue had it. So
yeah, it's definitely like it. That is an old feature from the Takara reissues.
Okay. Anything else?
I got one Marvel Legend. It's the X-Men Retro Avalanche, who is pretty much as basic as you can get, but he's a fairly obscure X-Men villain. And
I was going to ask who that is. I don't even recognize.
They used him in the Fox cartoon.
Yeah, like and twice. He didn't look like this. But like he was
red?
Like all this blue was gray, and the helmet was completely different. So he doesn't particularly look like Avalanche, and he's pretty basic. The face sculpt under the helmet is not the best.
I think we lost Matt. Okay.
Of course, right when he was going through what he got.
Well, I think that was the only other thing he got. Didn't he?
Don, what'd you get?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. For Valentine's Day, my wife got me the 2022 Hallmark Optimus Prime ornament.
Cool.
And in the kind of animation colors, so that was very nice to her. I appreciate it. I found that Dungeons and Dragons book at my local Target that Brian had posted, so I did actually find that.
The little golden book?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the little golden book. I got it. And the cool thing was I bought one of Christy's Valentine's gifts. It was a book about Dolly Parton and her lyrics.
We got the Dolly Parton. We got
we
got the Betty White, and we got the D&D book.
Yeah. The I was able to score the Dolly Parton book was half off.
Oh.
It was half off. It was half off the cover, and they had a sale on books, buy one get one half off. So I got the book for $25, and I got my little golden Dungeons and Dragons book for $2.50. So that worked out well. I was at a Target out of town. We went down to a Brazilian steakhouse over the weekend for our Valentine's dinner because we
nice choice.
Good
nice choice.
Yeah.
Wasn't Don at the BotCon the only one of us who was dissatisfied with that meal?
No, that was Triplet. That was
Triplet.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Triplet. Yeah,
Oh,
I enjoyed
Chris,
it.
Triplet.
Yeah, and I even said I didn't mind spending the money because the meal was that good, and y'all were shocked by me saying that.
Okay, I knew one person was like a stick in the mud over it.
Yeah, it was Triplet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hi, Chris.
and I went to a Target that had just piles and piles of stuff scattered everywhere, as most Targets do nowadays. So I started digging for stuff because I had a Target coupon that was about to expire. And I saw a Masterverse Roboto just laying on the shelf under a pile of crap. And I thought, well, this looks a lot better than the initial pictures did. And I was digging through all the stuff that they had, and I actually found some stuff that I've been wanting in these various piles. So I guess I should say Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto, for letting me look. But also in the piles of stuff, I found the only one I've seen so far, the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Snowspeeder, which Blade was kind enough to point me out to Amazon at the point, but I was trying to find it locally to take a look at it. But Snowspeeder is one of the few vehicles that I would like. I will buy versions of that from Empire Strikes Back. And the only other thing I got on topic was Earthspark Megatron. I saw them at Walmart. Figured I'll go ahead and pick him up, see how it is. But that's it. It's been very lean because there's just nothing coming out right now. Because my Target is a wreck. The Walmart is reset. And here's something just as a side note about the Hot Rod. I went to 3 Walmarts. None of them have a tag for Hot Rod. So he should be shipping in a solid case,
correct,
like Starscream is. One of the guys on Twitter, and I apologize for not giving credit, sent me a picture of the UPC for Hot Rod off the box. When I scan it, when I had it scanned at Walmart, the UPC does not come up as valid. So I don't know what to do about Hot Rod other than hope they don't push my Walmart pre-order back again.
They will.
I thought you said you were ordering it from Pulse.
No, it was sold out on sold out on Pulse before I even knew it existed. I was at work when they announced it, and by the time I found out it was even a thing, it was already sold out and has never gone back in stock every time I've checked.
Mm-hmm.
So the only place I could find a pre-order was Walmart, and it's been delayed twice, I think.
Well, you should order it from Pulse. I'm just being a jerk. Me too. I should have ordered it from Pulse. I'd already have it.
So I had a complete brain fart. I actually did get two things which I can go through real quickly because I didn't open either of them because, well, you'll find out why. So I went to Walmart today to get some groceries, and I swung by the clearance aisle, and lo and behold, they finally marked down Beast Wars Pterosaur reissue. So that was $11.
Oh, and it's so pretty too.
Yeah, I never had a proper, original colors Pterosaur. I've had the mold once or twice in different decos, but never the Pterosaur deco. So, thing to add to the pile. And then right next to that, they also had Diecast found the Legacy Beast series buzzsaw for $9. So I went ahead and got that, which means I think I actually have the whole assortment of those now, even though I didn't want to buy any of them in the first place. Just the way things go. I mean, for that matter, when Kingdom Scorponok came out, I hated that and didn't want to get that again. But I ended up buying Sandstorm because it was a BotCon tribute toy, and then I ended up with the Creatures Collide 4-pack, which has the toy colors Kingdom Scorponok in it. So I've got all the uses of that mold too. I've got a problem. But anyway, that's actually what I got this week, not the nothing I said before.
Cool.
But thanks again to Blade for hooking me up with that Night Prowler that actually, completed the set originally.
Okay. So I got something. I'll let Diecast go last. I got a boxed Takara G1 Headstrong.
Cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty sweet. Pretty excited about that. I also got a Takara boxed G1 Tantrum.
Nice.
Ooh.
All
right, three more.
Yeah, 2/5 of the way there.
Boxed G1 Takara Dive Bomb.
Ooh.
Excellent.
I'm waiting for the plot twist here, honestly.
There's no plot twist.
Damn.
Boxed Takara G1 Rampage.
Okay.
All right, which one are we missing now?
Razor Claw.
Razor Claw.
Yeah. So there we go.
Ooh.
So I got there's I want to complete my G1. I am counting Takara issues as the same thing as Hasbro, unless there's some crazy deck.
So are those die-cast pieces or plastic pieces?
They're plastic. I think they're plastic. Actually,
if they're G1, wouldn't they be die-cast?
They're both.
They're the production variation.
Yeah. Predacons had both.
Yeah, so
just like Ultra Mag.
Predacons had both. Combaticons had both.
Yeah. Yeah, they're plastic. Hadn't even checked. Hadn't thought to check. I had the platinum reissue, and that doesn't count. But I will count. God, I wasn't even thinking of that. I probably need both. Thanks, Matt. So
that's what I was shooting for.
But yeah, so I didn't have a vintage G1 Predaking. Now I do.
Nice.
Yeah. So Diecast. What'd you get?
Or plastic if he's the later release version.
Well, I'll tell you about the two things you already know about. I got Cheetor from the new movie. It's funny because on the box itself, his tan plastic, I guess you say, is a lot darker than what the toy actually is. So it's not bad. I mean, I haven't transformed it, to be honest. But it cleans up pretty well in robot mode. So, and then I heard he's kind of simple, but that's okay. And then I did transform Arcee. I like her. I kind of wish we would have got her in a deluxe.
scale though.
Yeah. But I also got 2 Unicrons.
Reaction
Excellent.
Unicrons, yeah. For
Reaction. Yeah,
audio
because
only.
G1 toy never released.
Mine's sitting in my pile of loot.
Yeah. And both boxes are, unpunched, as they say, for the little peg hook.
Yeah, mine's unpunched. I guess they're all unpunched.
I also got it just came today, so it's still in the wrapper. The Fans Toys
Double dealer,
double
upside down.
dealer. Yeah. So I'm excited about him. It's actually
Which version did
Toys
you
did
get?
Double Dealer?
Fans Hobby.
Fans Hobby. Okay.
Fans Hobby. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Which version did you get, Diecast?
I got the one with the purple wings.
Yeah, Fans Hobby seems to be working their way through Master Force right now.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I think Don will like this one. I got another Omega Supreme.
Okay, which one is that?
New
This
Age?
is the
Is that the new?
Toys or whatever it's called. It's not the New Age one.
Okay.
It's the
Oh
other...
yeah, it's the Mech Fan Toys one.
Is it
Yeah.
MacFan Toys?
Yeah,
Is it?
was it MFT?
No, I don't think it's MFT. I think it's like, and of course they didn't ship the box, because sometimes they just decide to throw those out when they ship overseas. But it's definitely meant for overseas market because it has light and sound, but it's in Chinese or Japanese. So, but he is a really good looking Omega Supreme.
Yeah.
Lots of articulation in the head.
Yeah, I know there was one done by Mech Fan Toys. I know, but that's the only other small one I know of.
Yeah, this
I mean,
is like
small. It looks about the size of G1 Omega Supreme.
Well,
Yeah,
it's small
no,
compared to the
he's,
other
you know-
third party.
Let me throw up a deluxe. Here's
G1 Omega Supreme was not a very big toy.
Also, that's an unfair comparison since mainframe is bigger than a deluxe.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a third party Omega Supreme from Huajiang or the other company. So we definitely know it's not a masterpiece scale, but it's still very impressive.
I don't know who actually made this.
It's an Omega Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the link where you got it in our chat if you get a chance. I want to look at that.
Absolutely, no problem. And then the last thing that Chris, remember that story a couple weeks ago about the pre-movie art that went on eBay?
Yes. What did you
and
do?
Matt was overbidding me on the Unicron.
I wasn't actually, it was a joke, but
Well, the Unicron went up, but as Chris said, if you're gonna get one, you want one that's a little bit different and doesn't look like standard G1 or movie. So I got, and I think Chris, you'll think this fits.
It's fitting.
Or everyone should, think this is very fitting for me. And I framed it because it's a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger than 5x7.
I think you're holding it backwards.
He is.
Yeah. But it fits in I made it fit in a 5x7 frame with a mat,
Oh,
and it's blur.
yeah. That's definitely a good callback.
Yeah.
I like the colors on it. I really do. I've never seen a blur this color.
No, I mean that actually looks nice. And to explain the joke for anybody who's not familiar with the reference, Matt and I especially took to calling diecast blur during convention trips because he would just suddenly tear off and you would not be able to follow him or even find him again for hours and hours. And just, diecast is blur.
Yeah. So, Yeah, I knew I wanted one if it was going to be possible to obtain one when we saw that news article. And I'm super happy that I was able to get one.
Yeah, I saw at one point at least one of the Unicrons was like over $900 already.
Yeah, that was the one of his front, not of his back. Because
what did the back shot go for? Do you know?
I don't know. I
That would have
ended
been
up
an interesting
lucking
second
out and
prize
being
at least.
available to stock the blur. Because obviously there were multiple people that were bidding on it.
Yeah.
But the Unicron I just gave up on
Mhm.
because I was like, yeah, I'm not spending that. I mean, I think this cost me. It was under 150.
Okay.
Oh, that's not bad at all,
Oh,
then.
nice.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you were never getting a Unicron for anything close to that.
No.
yeah, believe it or not, the wheelie that I was bidding on sold for more than this, and I actually prefer this over the wheelie.
The wheelie was interesting.
Yeah.
The blur is actually like conventionally attractive. The wheelie is just like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then there was the Wreck-Gar, which is just like, yep, that's sure what he looked like the like 2 times he appeared in the comics.
Right. Wreck-Gar and the Springer they had was very true to how he turned out in the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very happy, that this is apparently a one of a kind piece. And I did see like the photo they took, there's a little spot on this. It's just like a little dot up in the corner.
Somebody probably sneezed on it 20 years ago.
And I looked at the eBay listing and it had that same dot in the photos.
Well, there's your authenticity mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, that's cool.
Yeah, very, very, very happy to have something unique and different in my collection. So that's what I got. That was the big thing.
It's awesome. Yeah. I'm excited for you. Cool. Okay. Well, I want to thank our patrons at patreon.com/tfradio. Patrons of RFC get an ad-free version of the show at a higher bit rate each week with an exclusive Patreon pre-show podcast. If we have an edited version of the show, like for the primary feed, say Don just goes off on a crazy tangent and just drops all sorts of, horrible swears, we will have an unedited version of that podcast on our Patreon. The Too Hot for Public Doncast, but
Too Hot for TV.
Yeah. Patrons get the Hot 5 podcast a week early, and patrons at the Touch tier actually get to be on Hot 5 with Rob. And also patrons at the Touch tier get mentioned on the show each week and are listed at tfradio.net/credits. And I want to thank our patrons at the Touch tier: Kevin Dorsey, AJ, Eric Griffin, Tyrell Gwynn, Rick Mahurin, Ryan Bona, Emmett Sresovich, Rabbits, Hector Bones, Ness, Joey Russell, Sean Williamson, Spider Bob, Jay Klein Rye, Sean Hamilton, Jacob Owen Lucia, and Sean Bratton. Thank you all so much. You are awesome. We want to thank all our patrons, but again, patrons at the Touch tier do get mentioned on the show each week. So really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. We love you. And anybody who is interested, again, go to patreon.com/tfradio and sign up. We'd appreciate it. Of course, we also have our Amazon link at tfradio.net/Amazon. You can still buy your toilet paper and toothpaste there. If you still, like a savage or barbarian, actually go out to buy toilet paper or toothpaste, just order it online. That way you can have it delivered directly to your house and you can, live that wonderful toy collector reclusive lifestyle that we live. So,
I feel called out.
I like it. It's quiet.
So you can find all of our stuff at tfradio.net. We're on Twitter at tfradio. And hey, we'd appreciate it if you want to mention the show on Twitter. We always love plugs and love shout outs and stuff. But if you're gonna only mention us to complain about something that you weren't paying attention to, don't do that. Just saying. Let's see here. You can also find us on Instagram at TF Podcast. And we are also on YouTube, of course. You can watch us live at youtube.com/blah, blah, 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 Radio Free Cybertron. And we have a live stream each week around 8 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesdays. And we chat with our pals at our Discord at tfradio.net/Discord. Let's see, John Luna not here at that John D everywhere. Rob Springer not here at Robo Springer on Twitter and at zonebase.org. I'm personally on Twitter at bkilby sometimes. And Chris, tell us how to get a hold of Rob.
I can do that. So Flail Throughs is Rob's YouTube channel where he mostly plays Gundam games, specifically Gundam Battle Operation 2, which he's been covering every day for the last several years, basically without missing a beat. It's very impressive. Gundam Battle Operation is a free-to-play online Gundam game. It updates every Thursday. Rob always has a video talking about what's in the newest content drops. If you want to throw some support his way, he's on Patreon at patreon.com/flailthroughs. He will do within his ability to deliver custom rounds, color schemes, etc. on the mobile suits in the game. Let's see, what else is there? He's on Twitter at Rob Flails. I think that's his only Twitter presence these days, which, a minimized Twitter presence is a thing we should all aspire to, I think.
Absolutely. And
he has an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/playlist. As for myself, you can find the work I've done, which is toy photography related, at playwithphotography.com. I have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/chrislist. And if you want to get a hold of me, I'm in our Discord at tfradio.net/discord every day. So come find me there. And when you do come around, just hang out, because we got cool people. It's a nice crowd. Very good little community we got going here. I'm very pleased with it.
Yep, agree totally. Let's see here, Don.
I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC, the number 4 EVR.
Diecast.
You can reach me on Twitter at Diecast2. You can like my Facebook page at Reviews by Diecast, and you can see my reviews. They ever start going up at youtube.com/RFC Reviews.
Sweet. Okay, that's it for this week. We will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Recording stopped.
Yay.
Any audio problems from me?
No.
Okay, good.
Gonna
go get a Starscream?
I don't know. I do have time. I probably should. Hey, people watching live, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream so I can go get Starscream. Maybe if they have it.
I probably do.
I also have to pack up a package. So by YouTube, by Twitch.